Welcome back to Basement Philosophies, where the conversation can go anywhere. Just a disclaimer, I am not a medical doctor, so anything we discuss here is just my personal experience and not at all medical advice. Let's get to it. I'm your host, Brittany, and I'm so happy that you're here. Hey everyone, it's Brittany. Oh my gosh, I have been trying to record this episode all day. Like, I deleted the first 3 because I was just like in tears for no reason at all. Oh, nobody wants to get on here and listen to me cry, right? But then I was really like 30 minutes into the last one, and even I was zoning out. I was like, oh my God, I'm so bored. And then Luna came in here. That's my dog. And she like vomited all over the carpet. And it was so loud. And I was like, Luna. And then I was just like, actually, thank you. Like, you just snapped me out of a rambling. And that was boring. And I'm going to delete this too. So I deleted it. I went for a walk. Got some sunshine. Came back. Let Luna out. Now here I am. My spirit is lifted a little bit. I'm not as down as I was. So the things we do. But I just took a small walk. I just needed to, I don't know, get out of my head. And then I was like listening to this podcast, the No Mercy podcast. I don't know if y'all have ever listened to it. That's my conspiracy theory guys. I just love them. They're hilarious. They just really don't care about anything. They don't care about what people think. They're so censored. They get kicked off of every platform. They just really don't give a damn. You should check them out. If you like conspiracy theories. I do. I love them. Just not that I believe all of them. Well, I don't know. You would be surprised what I believe. But they kind of dig a little deeper, and I love that because I love everybody's perspectives. I love that Armando has a different perspective than me, and I love that he can say, no, this is what I think, and then I know how far out of the box I am, because he's very common. He is common. He doesn't necessarily believe everything he sees, but a good amount. Like, he'll watch the news and believe that. And me, I'm like so far out of the box. So I've talked about this before. I've just said, I don't believe that. He's like, Brittany, I don't want to get into it right now. So I'm like, fair enough. That's fair. So I like that he keeps me grounded in that way, but I like that I can go off the rails, like, if I want to, just in my own time, which I do sometimes. Sometimes it's just like, I like to get lost in it, but at the end of the day, you come full circle, and you just realize you're back where you started, and you don't really know anything, right? We don't really know anything. At least I don't. Even people that, like, I found this a couple girls, they, like, really study the Bible, like, and they're not exactly, religious. They just read the Bible because they're just trying to figure out, like, what is this, and I like to hear what they have to say about the Bible because, I have my thoughts about the Bible, but I'm not going to really get into that here. I mean, maybe one day, but, I don't study the Bible enough to really give my opinion, if that makes sense. Like, I have an opinion, but there are people that are far more well-versed in all of that. And they could have, like, a legit educated argument with you and tell you why this, and I can't do that. So I can tell you what I think, but it really comes from nothing. So it's not really fair, right? I don't think so. But I'm open-minded. I like to hear all perspectives. I am so against, because I got into, or should I say it's so easy to get into an echo chamber where you're surrounded by people that agree with you. And it's so easy to, get there, despite the fact that they make different platforms for free thinkers, quote, quote. No, it's just they think the opposite of what the news says, and then they all get together, and it's just such a mess. I can have my thoughts, but I can hear yours too. In fact, I want to. I like to hear the differences and why you think the way that you do and how you got there. And unfortunately, it's not like that anywhere I go. Nobody wants to hear what I think. They definitely don't care. And if it's not their way, then I'm wrong and they don't want to hear about it. But me, I'm interested. I want to know. I want to know the differences and how you got there. And it's just, I used to be afraid to be different, but I'm not afraid to be different anymore. Now it's just kind of funny. Especially, like, people get so mad so fast. They're so mad all the time. People are just mad all the time. And especially, like, if you ask a question. Like, I remember I asked somebody, like, where did you hear that from? And then it's so clear now, because you can hear it's from the news. You can hear, because I try to read from different avenues, like from all different, belief systems. And there's narratives on both sides. There's narratives if you're liberal, there's narratives if you're Democrat, your narratives if you're conservative, Republican, whatever you want to call it. There's division everywhere, there's narratives everywhere, and I think they built it like that on purpose so that we're not coexisting in a peaceful way. And that's the purpose. That's why I think unity and working on uniting with it, all of our brothers and sisters, is so important at this time. But it's also one of the hardest things to do. Gosh, just look at all the crap happening in this world, all the people dying, all the horrible wars, and I'm not talking about Ukraine, I'm talking about all the other countries that nobody ever talks about, that are constantly in warfare, constantly these people are getting, wiped out, just genocide all over the place that nobody's ever talking about, the news never talks about, but yet we're supposed to be talking about Ukraine, right? But anyway, my point is all of this shit happening in the world, and everybody's talking about what happened at the Oscars. No, that was planned. That was low ratings. That was Pfizer sponsors. Come on. Hollywood is the most corrupt, fakest place ever. And if you're even wasting your energy thinking about celebrities, don't. Go do something productive. Go kiss your kids on the forehead, or go for a walk, or do a cartwheel. Do 20 squats. Don't waste your life away thinking or even paying attention to celebrities. Who gives a shit about them? Who cares about them? And this is not coming from someone, I used to love celebrities. I would just read about them. I had the People magazine sent to my house every week, that Us Weekly. Remember? They even make that anymore? I don't know. I'm not coming from a place where I didn't do the same thing. Now, I admit. But okay, they are not just like us. They are puppets, and they just want to divide you even more. And if you just open your eyes to the possibility that is their purpose, you'll start to see it. So just do something better with your life. Last week I was so, like, I was like a new woman, right? I had this great night of sleep, which you never get, especially when you're this big pregnant. But I slept amazing. The day was beautiful. The sun was out. Like, I just felt like I was on top of the world and I could do anything. Well, last night I did not sleep, and I knew, like, my partner just got home from traveling and he needed rest because he had to be at the office this morning. And me, I was like dehydrated and felt like all effing day. Like, I was so dehydrated. And what do you know? And I was like, yeah, I must be dehydrated because I don't really have to pee as much as usual. I mean, I pee a lot, but I didn't have to pee as much as usual. No, it was just all in there and it wanted to come out in the middle of the night. So I moved to the couch. I didn't want to disturb him because I knew he had to be up, and I felt bad, and I was just on the couch watching my show. And I sleep. I can make a little nest of pillows on the couch. So I'm pretty comfortable there, and I could get up and pee as much as I want, and it doesn't matter because he can be in there snoozing, and I won't get in trouble the next day for keeping him awake. So, but I did not sleep at all, and it really impacts your mood. My God. And I just felt so blue today, so blue this morning, just overwhelmed by anything and everything. My feelings were hurt for no reason. I was just sad. Like I said, I was crying all morning long. Nobody did anything to me. Like, nobody's even here. I was just crying. And my feelings were hurt, but they were just hurting, and I just let them hurt, and I cried my ugly cry and just took a deep breath and moved forward. But the walk really helped. I feel a little better. But I read something. Maybe it was the end of my book that I was reading, and it talked about how it was a story he spoke of about himself, and he said that he had took it upon himself to become like this self-proclaimed healer. And it kind of fell apart at the end there, it fell apart pretty quickly, I guess I should say. And he said it's because I set myself up on this mission to save the world, when really I needed to save myself. And it was just like his way of running away from his like own problems, basically. And it's like everything he saw wrong in the world, he was like, okay, yeah, let me work on that. Let me fix that. And he wanted to see a world that was broken so that he could fix it, right? He made this claim that the world is neutral and that we perceive it the way we want to. I don't know if I'm there yet. I don't know if I can look at the world as neutral, because I think there's ugliness in the world, and I think that it's important that we are acknowledging that ugliness, because they've gotten away with it for far too long. So I don't think our planet is entirely neutral. And I'm not really sure how much power we have. We can get into law of attraction and all of that later, but I'm playing around with that more just so I have something to say about it. Because right now what I do know is that I've been stagnant and stuck for a very long time. And that hasn't really changed much. And I've just, it's just such a, like, even what I'm doing here But I suppose my point is, he had said that I wanted to change the world, and it was because I needed to change myself. And you do have an impact on the world when you do work on yourself. And it's hard, especially if you have a victim mentality, to understand that. I know for a long time I didn't want to admit that there were things wrong with me, that these were the choices that I was making, that ultimately at the end of the day, no matter how many people had hurt me, I am the common denominator. That's just the truth of the matter. Hard pill to swallow. Nobody wants to admit it, but it's true. I'm the common denominator, so there's something that I need to understand here. And that is why I don't think... I've spoken about this before, and it's about, putting yourself under this like spiritual microscope kind of thing. And I believe that, yes, it is important to take accountability, to maybe look at the areas of your life that are maybe like shed light on the parts of you that you don't necessarily want to look at. But it's also important to make sure you're not doing that too much. It's about balance. Like, at some point, yes, take accountability, but also, understand that someone's an asshole, and maybe you need to get away from that person. That maybe they're just an asshole, and your lesson is to get away. Not, okay, what is this person mirroring in me? Because I do think people work as mirrors in our lives, but to a certain extent. I think that's why it's so important to be able to use your brain. You want to be able to discern when things are about you and when things are not about you at all. So, I could hypothetically look at my partner, and he could be going through something horrible, like in his life, and he's just not telling me about it, whatever. He's acting out. He's being terrible. I suppose, that's more about him, right? It's not right that he's treating me like shit, but it's his turmoil. It's how he's trying to cope with something he doesn't know how to cope with. Now, does that mean I stick around for it? No, of course not. It's not about me. It's about him and his mistakes and his choices. So while I can, a lot of the time when we're in a situation like that or in a toxic relationship, we sit and we wonder, what am I doing wrong? Or what can I do to make them happier? Or what is it that I can, how can I change this situation? But maybe it is not your situation to change. But sometimes it is. So for me, if I feel that I can be controlling in the sense where I can sense like something bad is about to happen. Like, I don't know, it's like something's about to get out of control, or we're headed down the wrong path. Doesn't matter. It could be friends, family, relationship, anywhere. If something's going down a path that it's triggered me because I've seen it before, or it's just a pattern that I'm trying to break, I tend to panic. And that is what I'm learning. It's a hard lesson. I mean, there's something happening in this chapter in my life that I can't quite get a grasp on. And when I do, I'll share it with you. But, I'm kind of in this place where, okay, I'm trying to break these cycles. I'm very aware. Why am I back here? Why am I back in this place? What am I needing to see that I haven't been seeing for so many years? Like where, I've tried different methods. I've tried different solutions. I've made different decisions, and they all lead me right back here to this place. And I can't figure it out. Even now, like talking to you, I'm just like, why am I back here? What do I do? How much is it about me? And how much is this about, the other people in my life? Like how much accountability do I need to take? And then how much of it is out of my control? And it's so important to find that balance, because I could carry the weight of the world and think it's my responsibility. Just like the man in the book I was reading, he's like, I wanted to help heal the world. And I can totally understand that, because I do. I want to make the world a better, beautiful place. But I can't do that if I'm broken too. And not broken, I'm whole. We're all whole, but broken in the sense that there are things within me that I need to be able to look at, to admit to, and, work on as best as I can. And, it's so easy to look at someone and be like, well, it's your fault that I'm feeling this way. It's your fault that I'm hurting. But at the same time, you could say, well, I am letting them. I'm letting them hurt me. So where are my boundaries? How can I step up? How can I change? And I'll let this person know that their behavior is not okay. And that goes for everyone. And I'm not saying I'm good with boundaries, because I'm not. I laugh because me and my friend Nikki, we were laughing about it the other day, because I was like, okay, yeah, so like boundary work, where are you there? And she was like, oh, I don't get it. And I was like, me either. I do not get it. And because my therapist is like, okay, so in regards to this, like, what are your boundaries? And I was just like, oh, I totally got this. And I was like naming off things that I won't put up with, right? Like within, family dynamic, friendships, relationships. She's like, what are they? And I'm just like, I won't put up with this. I'm not going to do this and this and this. And I was spouting off stuff I'm spouting off everything like with so much confidence. And she was like, that's like deal breakers. I mean, like your boundaries. And I was like, what? I was like, those are my boundaries. She's like, no, those are deal breakers. Like, you're not going to put up with it. So that's that. I was like, yeah, that's a boundary. She's like, no, it's a deal breaker. And I was like, well, I don't get it. So I'm going to need to think about this for a while. So I am currently working on boundaries and setting them and enforcing them. And it's way harder than deal breakers. Like, it requires, a deal breaker is, look, you're going to do this. I'm not going to do it. Like, bye. But a boundary, you have to like keep on reinforcing these boundaries, and people don't like it. People don't like when you've been a certain way, your entire life, and then you set this boundary now, and they're like, what the F is this? Like, this is crap. So it hasn't been the easiest practice, but I'm working on it, and I won't even say that it's been great, because so far, not great. But I know it's important. But I think I kind of cheated when it came to therapy, because I've always known like what my problem was and where I was going. Like, and if she asked a question, I knew why she was asking it. But now it's like coming to a point where she'll ask me something and I draw like a complete blank. And it is in regards to these patterns in my life that I'm trying to break, and my tendency to try to protect myself and others from their own choices. And it's something that's not helpful. Like, I can't tell people how to live their lives. And if they want to destroy it or make a bad decision or crash and burn, And I'm not saying that in a judgmental way. I'm saying, like, I've seen people crash and burn from doing the same thing over and over again. Like, as an outsider, I could see. And the way the way she described it was, you see this person standing in the street and there's a bus coming. And the bus is coming because you see it, but they can't see it. They can't see the bus, and you're just yelling at them and panicking for them to get out of the way because there's a bus coming. But they're not listening to you. And so you start, the anxiety starts to build up, and you're freaking out more, because you're just desperate to get them out of the street so the bus doesn't hit them. But ultimately, it's not my job to get them out of the street. It's their job. It's like all of my choices that I make, all the things that I take accountability for, I am at a place where I can do that, where I know I need to do that. But sometimes people aren't where you are, and you cannot drag people. Like, if you're growing and moving and trying to just move forward, and I so desperately want to take everybody with me, right? I so desperately want everybody to come move forward with me, but you can't do that. You can't bring people along with you that aren't ready. And it's so sad and devastating, and it's just like something that I'm learning. And to give up that part of me has been a real struggle. And I don't even know, like, how to do it, honestly. So, especially when a situation gets particularly bad and I just have to get up and leave the situation, It's not easy. And you just, you have to, there is a time and a place where you have to decide, like, okay, am I letting this person disrupt my peace, or am I making excuses for this person, or is this person actually disrupting my peace, and there's nothing like I can do about it, and I have no choice but to remove myself from the situation? Because you cannot control the way someone acts. You cannot control someone's actions and choices. You don't know what's best for people. And I'm guilty of that sometimes. I'm guilty of trying to save everyone. I'm guilty of thinking that I know what's best for them when I have no idea. I don't even know what's best for myself. So how on earth am I gonna, look at someone's life and be like, no, this is what you need to do. And if you don't do it, like, you're stupid. I don't think that. I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. I don't think that. I'm just like, but a part of me is like, you need to do it this way. But there is a difference, there have been times when people could call me controlling, but it's not really a fair label, I don't think, because what they are seeing is a panic, right? Because I'm seeing a pattern, and I don't want the pattern to continue. And I know that it's going to lead somewhere bad because I've seen it lots of times before. And I'm trying to keep the peace. I'm trying to keep, bad things from happening. But like I just said, you can't always do that. People are going to do whatever they want. People are going to make the decisions that they want. And if they crash and burn, then that's on them. And you cannot change that. And I hate it. And that's just like what I'm weathering right now. And I just, it's so hard. And I'm having to, kind of I say it's hard. And at the same time, it's a bit of a relief, to know that there's nothing that I can do, because I was taking on so much. And I had all of this in the air that I was trying to keep up in the air. And I was just trying so hard. It was just very exhausting what I was trying to do. And to admit that I know now that I can't do anything is, I don't know. It's not easy to admit that. It makes me sad. But at the same time, it's like, okay, well, this is not my shit. This is their shit. And I have to, take care of my stuff. I can't take care of your stuff, and there's freedom in that, but, it's disheartening. It's sad because you don't want to watch anybody that you care about fall apart. And that's kind of what's happening, in a variety of different areas in my life. And I hate it. Because it's almost like, let me do something for you, but there's nothing that I can do. And that just brings me back to my point. We can't save the world. We can save ourselves. And, and however that looks for you, it's different. So I can tell you what I do, but it might not be the same thing that you need. So, I'm trying to, listen to my intuition. I've told you before, my intuition or whatever voice in my head that I'm listening to, I think I'm still guided by fear most of the time, but, I'm trying to move away from that, but it's just hard. Because ultimately, I think my intuition is broken. It's not. I just don't know the differences yet. And I've said that. I think I said that the last time, but I'm still struggling with that. And I'm so desperate for answers. Like, I'm so desperate to break out of this cycle that I'm in. And I keep looking outside. And I thought that I wasn't. I thought that I was doing it differently. But it's not true. Like, I'm still searching outside for all of these answers. And my therapist, she brought that to my attention. And I was just like, but you don't understand. I was like, I've tried to sit there and ask for guidance and ask, I was like, I'm trying to listen to my heart. I'm trying to do whatever I can. And then she heard me and she understands my frustrations, but that's what it is. It's frustrating. And then I'm sitting here and I'm talking and I'm thinking about it, and I was like, and just now I thought to myself, maybe I need to stop trying so hard. But then that plays into the whole stagnant thing, because I've been pretty stagnant for a few years, and I think there's a difference between retreating and resting and stagnation. And I think I've been a little bit of all three, but sometimes I just feel really stagnant. And then when I try to start moving that energy, the fear really ramps up. Just like this podcast that I'm doing. Like today, so many podcasts fail. I know that. What was it? Less than 5% of people that start a podcast really become successful. I don't know what I read. Something like that. It was discouraging number, whatever it was. And my brains just went into overdrive, and it was just like, you know what? You should probably quit now. And I have quit this. I mean, I don't know if you're aware. I've tried doing this for a few years now, and I've just made it a point. I have made it a point to keep going, even though I don't know where I'm going. And if this were the last 2 times I attempted this would have been the day I quit. But I just persevered, and I just went for it, and it kept, like, I did everything I could. Like I said, I deleted this one episode like 4 times, and I had to go for a walk, and I had to cry forever. And I was just feeling so down. And that could be a lot of different things. I mean, everything hasn't been especially easy these past, like, maybe week. Ever since my really good day, everything kind of went to shit. And no wonder people always look for the other shoe to drop, because you have one really great day and then it just goes to shit. And I want all of my days to be great. So that's what I'm working on. But they haven't been, and it's just taking a toll on me. And then after not sleeping last night, and then like every little thing was setting me off, and I was like, oh my God. And then I love recording these podcasts. I love doing them. And even today I was just like, I need to quit. It's stupid. It's discouraging. Like, one week people listen to, other weeks they don't. And is it all a waste of my time? And there are some people that will say, yes, why are you doing that? Go do something less embarrassing. And no, I want to keep going. I don't know. Something in me is like, just keep going. Because I think that the harder it gets, the more discouraged it gets, is usually when people quit. And it's usually when something great's about to happen. And that's my thought. That's going to be my thought process from now on. So we'll see if that's true. But the whole point, I did kind of ramble again on this episode, but to like wrap it all up in a nice pretty bow, the point is you could look at the world and the turmoil and the pain and the suffering and the evil, and you can give up, or instead of trying to save the world, save yourself first. And that means taking care of yourself. Do something for you. Stop trying to make decisions for people. Stop trying, even if that means that people have to fall out of your life. It's sad, but necessary. Like, if someone wants to be an alcoholic and it's ripping you apart, and you can, a part of it is, I guess, giving them a choice. But I tell you, for the most part, with alcoholics, a lot of the times they're going to choose the alcohol, and it's going to hurt. But it's up to you to decide if you want to put up with it or remove yourself from the situation and, like, unfortunately let them make these decisions for themselves, because it's not your fault. Anything that people do like that, it's not your fault. And you can sit there and you can, I don't ever stop praying for them. Like, there have been so many times where I will pray for people, and I forget to pray for myself. But now I pray for myself too, of course. And then I pray for them. Especially because they've chosen to hurt me so many times, or, just aren't making the right choices for me or their family, or I don't know. Just I've taken on too much responsibility for things that I have no control over. And what it's done is it's really kind of broken me down. And it took me hitting a place of being hopeless to understand that the one I should be worried about is me. And that means that I'm going to keep growing and moving forward. And while it hurts to let people go, while it hurts to watch people struggle, at some point you have to understand that there's nothing that you can do. You can say what's on your mind. You can, kind of point out what the problem is, like what you're having problems with, but ultimately it's the other person that has to want to change. They have to, want to have, they have to want to feel better. They have to want to do better. But, ultimately, if someone's falling apart or they're barely surviving, maybe they do need someone to see that for them, validate that, and let them know that, hey, I know that you're falling apart. I know that you're barely holding on. I see it. You're not doing a good job hiding it anymore. I can see it. There can be something that can come of that. But ultimately, people have to, just like you, just like me. I don't listen to anybody. Like, ever. Never. I don't listen to anybody ever. Like, you could tell me something over and over again. I'm still going to do what I want to do until I figure it out for myself. I told you long ago, I am the master at learning things the hardest way possible. So, and I suppose that's where where I want to save people comes from, because I don't want them to make the same mistakes as I do. But I think maybe my intentions are always good, but I have to understand that I can't save anybody, but I can save myself. And I do that by taking care of myself and doing my work on my mental health. And like, we started doing this inner child work. Okay. I used to think that inner child work was different than what it was. And I'm going to go into depth about this once I've done it a little more. So I'm in therapy. My friend's in therapy. My sister also, it's not a secret. I hope she's not mad that I told you that, but I think she's pretty open about it. Sorry. My friend is a therapist in therapy. Like, we all love therapy. All of us do. But when we always like to, I love our little circle because we like to, talk to each other about what we learned in therapy, because, you get little nuggets of wisdom, like, for free, because therapy can be super expensive. And I was like, yeah, I think I'm hitting like a wall in therapy. And my friend was like, uh-oh, why? I was like, something about, like, I have to work on my inner child. And she was like, oh, no. And then, like, I even went to my sister about it. And I was like, Jimmy, has your therapist ever told you, like, to work with your inner child? She's like, oh my God, yeah. And I told her I had real problems, that I didn't have time for that. Sorry. She said, I have real problems and I don't have time for that. It made me die laughing. It still does, because I agree with her. And so when I say work with your inner child, what my therapist is asking me to do is spend some time out of, like, set some time out in my day, which I don't do it every day because it's weird. But you set some time aside and you go imagine that you're spending time with the little like child you. I've done it twice, and I mean, it's unexpected, I suppose, but it's still, I was like, Dr. Jasmine, I was like, I love you so much. You're my favorite therapist in the whole world. But this is a really stupid idea. And I was like, and you're smart. I was like, I'm not going to stop coming to you, but I think this is, like, really stupid, and I don't want to do this, and I feel stupid doing it. And she's like, oh, you're 100% going to feel stupid. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, I don't want to offend you. I was like, I just don't think this is going to work for me. And she was like, that's okay. Just give it a try. She was a good sport. Like, I just, like, I feel like a bashed her. I feel bad. Like, I'm going to have to apologize. But I was just like, is it okay to tell you that I think this is really stupid? And so I am currently, like, spending imaginary time with my inner child, so to speak. And I told Nikki, I was like, Nikki, spending time with your inner child, like having to do that, it sounds like homework for a client that you would give to a client when you have no other options. Like, am I too broken that she can't figure out what to do with me next? So this is what I'm doing now. But I mean, I don't know. Like, even she was like, no, I don't want to do that. And I don't either. But I'm game. Like, I'm game because I want to see if anything comes of it. So that's where we are. So far, I've done it twice now, like really short sessions. And it's different. But, like, again, I'll go more into details later to see if it's really effective and if it's something that I will do in the future with my clients. So it's a good learning experience. Like, I'm happy to do it. Like, I'm so open-minded when it comes to that. But that's, like, part of my saving myself kind of thing. My therapy, I just try to eat better. I'm doing, like, lots of research on, you know, healing the body, like, you know, parasite cleanses and mold tests and things like that, because I'm really interested in doing all of that. But, you know, like, functional medicine is not cheap. Like, they build it that way because, call me a conspiracy theorist, but our medical industry is designed to keep you sick. So I'm just putting that out there. But that is a different story for a different day. If y'all want to go into deeper with that, I am happy to. But, you know, I'm really into all of that stuff. But, you know, I can't really I'm not going to start experimenting stuff when I have a baby in my uterus. So, you know, I'm just kind of doing my research and being like, okay, what do I want to do first? You know, and I just got to take it slow. It's kind of just to see if it will, you know, be beneficial in the long run. So we'll see. I can't wait. But I'm going to close this off. As hard as it was to get through this podcast, I am so happy, especially if you made it to the end. And I will be here next week, of course, Thursday. And hopefully I will have a good night's sleep and feel like $1,000,000 like I did the last time. Please remember, if you have any questions at all for me, you can contact me, basementphilosophies@gmail.com, or you can go to my website, contact me there. Instagram, you can contact me there, Basement Philosophies as well. And if you could like and subscribe, that will be our review even. That will be awesome. And also, if there's anything I can do, if there's any way I can pray for you, please let me know and I will make that happen. Thank you so much for being here, and I can't wait to talk to you soon.